My sister got pregnant before getting married. My mom's pressuring me to claim the baby as mine. But I refused. Because of that, my dad hit me pretty hard. Even my boyfriend shook his head in disappointment, saying, "Lucy, you're being selfish. This affects Clara's reputation." I just laughed it off and kicked them out of my house. They're eating my food, living in my place, and still have the nerve to talk like that? When I found out about my sister's pregnancy, I was away on a business trip. That day my mom called me, her loud voice booming through the phone. "Hey Lucy, I need $500,000. Your sister's pregnant, and I already told Clara that you're covering the birth expenses, postnatal care, and a nanny. This 50 grand is just the starting cost. And if it's not enough, you'll need to fork out more. Oh, and when you get home, you better transfer the house to Clara. She can't be living under someone else's roof." She hung up before I could get a word in, as if I'd just obey without question. A few minutes later, my dad, mom, and boyfriend bombarded me with texts. "You think you've made it just because you have some money? Clara is your sister. You wouldn't even be here if she hadn't wanted a playmate. Why haven't you sent the money yet? Do you need Clara to beg? You're just jealous because she's smarter and prettier. Don't make me come to your workplace and humiliate you. Lucy, I'm really disappointed in you. I might need to reconsider our relationship. Clara's in a bad mood, so hurry up with the house transfer. And you'll cover the transfer fee too, got it? Bitch, you have 10 minutes to transfer the money, or we might have issues." I stayed silent, feeling nothing but irony. Was I the one who got her pregnant? Clara, my sister, has always been the one in the spotlight while I lived in her shadow. It's not that she's exceptionally brilliant. It's just how much my parents adore her. How much do they love her? Enough to treat her like she's made of glass, always ensuring she's happy. From elementary to high school, she attended the most expensive private schools. Her clothes, her shoes, her everything were supplied by our entire family's resources. Meanwhile, I was left with her hand-me-downs and leftovers. Even my so-called boyfriend was picked by my mom with one requirement: that he must treat Clara like his own sister. Every time I objected, they'd threaten me. Looking at the non-stop barrage of insulting messages on my phone, I realized these blood-sucking leeches are living off my money and in my house, but treating me like this. The day I got home, I saw Clara lying on the couch with a huge belly. I couldn't believe how much it had grown while I was away. She must be due soon. My mom and dad ignored me completely, one busy fanning her, the other feeding her watermelon chunks. My boyfriend John tenderly caressed the bump, grinning ear to ear. When he saw me, there was a flash of disgust on his face before he went back to normal. "So, you finally decided to come back." I looked around at them, thinking, this is my house. Do I need permission to be here? They were ready for me. As soon as I walked in, they grabbed me and tried to force me into transferring the house. And then my mom dropped a bombshell. "After Clara gives birth, the child's yours to raise. Can't have my daughter tied down with an illegitimate child. When the kid's older, they can call Clara their godmother." She rambled on, and the others nodded along. I laughed coldly, interrupting her. "And why should I raise her kid?" Mom frowned, matter-of-factly saying, "Clara is your sister. Isn't that enough? Besides, having a baby out of wedlock sounds bad. So, just take a few months off work and pretend you're pregnant. Your precious daughter's pregnant, and I'm supposed to clean up her mess? If she can get pregnant without being married, does she really care about reputation?" I turned to see Clara on the couch. She gasped, pointing at me, her belly quivering. John rushed to comfort her, directing his anger toward me. "Lucy, you're well off. What's one kid to you? This is about Clara's reputation. I'm so disappointed in you. Clara defended you to me, even after all this. John, don't be mad. Lucy will agree. This kid will call you dad someday, and me godmother. Isn't that right, Lucy?" Clara smirked, clearly pleased, and raised her eyebrows at me. I watched their performance. Was the kid actually theirs? When I didn't respond, my dad's expression darkened. Angrily, he raised a hand to slap me, but I dodged, nearly causing him to fall. "Fine. Act out if you think I won't punish you. You think because you earned some money you can just ignore us? See if I won't make you regret it." I laughed it off and walked out. If that's how they want to play, let's play. I mortgaged the house, maxed out the loan. I went to a well-known mortgage firm and told them straight up that I wouldn't be able to repay it. Told them about the squatters too. Losing a bit of cash felt minor compared to the satisfaction of knowing they'd soon be homeless. To celebrate their impending eviction, I ordered myself a solo hot pot meal delivered to my hotel. As I prepared to dig in, my sister called. I had blocked the others, but somehow missed her. Look at me and my scatterbrain. Lucy, you're actually bold enough to mortgage Clara's house. You better hand over the money and transfer the property back to Clara. And I won't pursue this any further. I was flipping through the messages they sent me, almost like reading a joke. This company is famous for its efficiency. They've really got a knack for dealing with stubborn debtors. Just now, the mortgage company messaged me saying the house will be up for sale soon. After deducting the loan and interest, I could pocket over $500,000. Don't forget I have the declaration where you gave up the property. You mortgaged my house without permission. And I've already called the police. Get ready to go to jail, Lucy. Soon enough, the police called me. Is this Lucy? Please come to the station as soon as possible. It was my first late-night call to the police station. My mom was there, eyes red with anger, cursing me out. I should have known better than to let you do this. Hand the house back. John even rolled up his sleeves, ready to throw down. I pitifully hid behind the officer. Officer, look at them, they're threatening me. That man over there even tried to hit me. If they're like this with you here, imagine how they treat me when you're not around. You're my daughter. Every penny you have is mine. My mom sneered, lunging at me as if she wished she could tear me apart. The officer intervened. This is a police station. What are you causing a scene for? Realizing the officer's power, my mom instantly backed down. Clara chimed in. Officer, my mom is just anxious. Can't blame her. Lucy mortgaged my house without permission. The loan company kicked us out when I was pregnant, and she should be the one locked up. The officer turned to me, asking questions with a stern look. I showed him copies of the land title and the mortgage documents. Officer, I bought this house. Isn't it my right to mortgage it if I'm not living there? Everything was done legally. But with them staying in the house, I was forced into a hotel. I'm a woman alone and in debt, with no other options. The property was clearly in my name, Lucy. Since I didn't break any laws, the officer simply let me go. My mom, getting angry again, pulled out a piece of paper and slammed it in front of the officer. It was a statement declaring that I would willingly transfer ownership to Clara. The officer examined the document. It clearly states the house is to be gifted to Clara free of charge. But wait, whose lie? That question left them speechless. The document was supposedly signed by someone named Lie, not me, Lucy. I burst out laughing. I saw this coming and intentionally signed it wrong. Funny how they didn't even notice. My name was given to me haphazardly, and no one realized the mistake. Clara, angered and pregnant, threw something toward me. My mom, realizing the agreement was invalid, threw herself to the ground, causing a scene and yelling at the officer. I don't care. She must have bribed you. The house is my daughter Clara's. Until it's returned, I'll come here every day and make your police station a mess. Chaos ensued. In the end, all four of them were detained at the station and given a lecture. With nowhere to stay and cut off from my support, they're unpredictable now, especially with how my mom has always been for Clara. When I bought the house, my mom caused a big scene, forcing herself into my place and coercing me into writing that agreement. I didn't expect John's family to contact me about an engagement before Mom. They cornered me on my way to work, so I had to meet them at a cafe by my office to straighten things out. John's family threw quite the attitude. I laughed, waiting to see what other tricks they had. Let's get real, Lucy. You're pretty average. My son is a top university grad with a bright future. If it wasn't for your family clinging to us, we wouldn't have agreed. I hear you mortgaged your house. That money should buy a house in his name since you're pregnant. If your mom hadn't pleaded, we'd never accept a woman with a baby out of wedlock. I couldn't hold back. I burst out laughing, nearly checking my ears to make sure I wasn't hearing wrong. John's parents were furious. His mom snapped. Disrespectful child laughing at your elders. Facing them, I clasped my hands and spoke sarcastically. Auntie, don't make me laugh. Me clinging to you? If my mom hadn't forced me, your son wouldn't have stood a chance. He's nothing but a pretty face with zero worth. A top university, huh? Fool me, but don't fool yourself. He's just a community college grad leeching off me. And you might want to ask him who he's really pregnant with. We haven't even held hands. John managed to fool my family, but not me. I'd heard all about him. He's just Clara's bootlicker, pretending to be accomplished to win her over. Were it not for appeasing my mom, nobody would fall for his act. After laying it all out, I stood up, tossed $100 bill their way, and said, "This one's on me. From now on, I have no ties with any of you. Oh, and by the way, is John helping my sister with her pregnancy checkup? Who knows whose baby it is anyway?" I left, leaving John's parents bewildered and embarrassed. Next thing you know, my phone blew up with calls from strangers. I picked up and was greeted with a string of insults, calling me out by name, and claiming it was justice served. After the call ended abruptly, over 100 calls and countless abusive messages flooded in. I was totally confused. A coworker, holding their phone, hesitantly approached me. The screen showed a headline, "Lucy, a supervisor at XX company, got pregnant out of wedlock and kicked her elderly parents out onto the street." The content was about, "Our family scrimped and saved to buy a house. Our youngest daughter said it should be in her name. And we didn't think twice, so we put it under her name. Who knew she'd be this irresponsible, messing around behind her boyfriend's back and getting pregnant? We tried to advise her, but she told us the house was hers and got some thugs to throw us out." There's a video of my mom holding up a gift deed as proof, crying and saying she just wants a place to live, now left homeless at her age. Yet, she also declares the house is still mine. She doesn't want it. Attached were transfer records to her beloved daughter, and proof of selling the house to pay for her daughter's studies abroad. The comments section was filled with harsh language and insults. There was even a small account post with my workplace's address, my pictures, ID, and phone number. A mob of angry netizens became the forefront of a crusade against me. My phone dinged with a new message, but I noticed one in particular. "Don't think mortgaging the house will let you off the hook. I know your secret." An anonymous sender with no traceable info. I laughed it off, thinking it's just a small prank by some people. They even knew to use anonymous messages. At least they thought things through a bit. Afraid I wouldn't see it, they kept bombarding me with texts. "Transfer $2 million to the account within 3 days. Or I can't promise your secret won't leak. A successful supervisor like you secretly being like this? It's gonna be a huge contrast, and you might not survive at work. It'll be embarrassing for you, wouldn't it, supervisor?" Seeing no reply, they sent another. "You wouldn't want your photos out there, would you? With a body like that, it's a waste not to use it, right? Haven't you made enough from your job?" Attached was a nude photo of me with the caption, "A little teaser, like it?" Really? I just shrugged, thinking it was ridiculous. Trying to fool me with this garbage Photoshop job. Legal awareness went to the dogs, huh? They say it's mine, and it's mine? Got proof. I'll get them a pair of shiny new silver bracelets when they do. I went straight to my Facebook account and posted the extortion texts. Captioned, "Haha, go ahead and leak them if you dare." Thanks to my parents' recent antics, my Facebook buzz was at an all-time high. The post got a massive response immediately. Most comments praised me for being authentic and a modern woman. A few nasty users, under the guise of anonymity, were spouting trash online. Flies don't bite seamless eggs. If she didn't invite trouble, how'd these photos exist? Have you forgotten? She's the infamous one who kicked her parents out, cheated on her boyfriend. Feeling guilty? Why not post the whole pic? Afraid of showing your face, huh? Weren't you looking for guys? The woman mustn't threaten with lawyer letters, right? Ha ha ha. Oh, I'm so scared. Ha ha ha. As if she'd even get a lawyer. She'd be the first one in trouble. Tired of it, I hired top-notch lawyers to take swift action. Soon the real names, schools, workplaces of a few people got pinned on my Facebook. Following that, I posted, "Here comes the lawyer's letter." Satisfied armchair warriors? The eagle-eyed netizens found some of them were actually college students. Some even had guaranteed graduate school placements. The issue blew up, with continuous tags to their schools for action. The moment they felt cornered, they rushed to apologize beneath my Facebook post. pleading for me to remove the pinned post. Their words were genuine, as real as when they were barking before. Elated, I asked my lawyer to demand they publicly apologize in video form and include handwritten apology notes pinned on their Facebook for at least 6 months. Simultaneously, I called their schools and workplaces, seeking punitive measures. Keyboard warriors need to be taught a lesson. A coworker angrily rushed toward me, holding a phone. Your parents are live streaming, twisting the truth. Taking the phone, I saw it looked like my parents had rented some basement. My mom was pretending to be weak, recounting her sad life story, while throwing shade at me for being cold-hearted. She looked pale in the video, against the scattered cardboard and water bottles, drawing sympathy from many viewers. But looking closer, they were living well, even having Haidaleo delivery. Sadly, the viewers were oblivious. The coworker beside me also cursed. This is shameless, distorting facts. What are you gonna do? We can all vouch for you here at work. Seeing her puffing her cheeks in anger, like a pufferfish, eased my own anger a bit. I replied firmly, don't worry, they'll pay the price sooner or later. For now, let them jump around. Aren't they just bad? Haven't you heard the saying? To destroy someone, first let them get arrogant. To boost their fame, I threw down $5,000 to give them some extra hype, deployed the social media army, and swept through everything. It was quite the spectacle. My only instruction to them: praise my mom to the skies. Just shower admiration. Whatever she did, they mirrored. Even if she just sneezed. Managed to create a vibe of an ultra-famous influencer. They're genuinely blowing up now. And look, they sent me another text. I better get down on my knees and beg for mercy. They're threatening me to agree to their terms, or they'll make my life miserable. They're willing to overlook my mistake of selling the house, as long as I buy them a top-notch school district home in the city, and a spacious flat for their retirement, plus cover all the kids' expenses. I've had it. I'm about to hit back. The next time my mom started a live stream, I entered under the flashy real name nickname Lucy. There she was, eyes red, face slightly twitching with age lines, passionately talking about her love for her daughter. To catch her attention, I splurged $200 on a bunch of online comments. I was ready to launch. Your little daughter Lucy is here. Your little daughter Lucy is here. Your little daughter Lucy is here. The chat went wild, changing the whole vibe of the stream. My mom's smug expression froze upon seeing the shiny Lucy username. Her face twisted for a second. The flood of comments kept coming, with more and more viewers. The stream hit the top of the charts, even causing it to lag. Mom seemed in shock, her mouth open wide, looking pretty ridiculous. Probably didn't expect disgraced me would have the guts to join her stream. But she quickly regained her composure and continued her sob story, thinking she'd get sympathy from her fans again. Little did she know, those so-called fans were hired by me just for today. The barrage of comments put her in a tough spot, and eventually, she connected with me. As soon as the connection started, I hit her with this. Mom, how can sister enjoy herself without caring about you? Let me tell you about her. My mom was stunned, opened her mouth to object, but I cut her off. Wait, I get it. Is she tired from carrying my boyfriend's baby? Tell her I'd be heartbroken if she's worn out. After all, Mom, you did say her child is also mine. And you want me to bear the shame of her getting knocked up, right? The chat exploded. What the hell? Am I getting this right? Who's having whose baby? What's with this drama? What's going on here? A soap opera, brother-in-law loves his sister-in-law, ha ha ha. You're spewing nonsense, my mom yelled furiously, standing up to curse me. Your sister is the best kid. I'll get a lawyer for your defamation. She's literally a spitfire. She plopped down dramatically, wailing about the wrongs of raising a daughter like me. Lucy, you'll get your karma for this. We did everything for you, took care of you, put you through school, and now you slander your sister. I rolled my eyes. This move made her scream even more passionately, and the stream's atmosphere was just right. Finally, I lazily took out my phone and played a recording. Heavy breathing and a dull slapping noise filled the stream. Honey, who's better, Lucy or me? Of course it's you, sweetheart. She's nothing. And if it weren't for needing her to raise the kid, she'd have been out ages ago. The woman's scream echoed again. The stream erupted. Still clocked in at work, Now the entire office knew. So the main plot is sister-in-law and brother-in-law? I gave a thumbs up to the comment. That user nailed it. This story started on a moonless night when my loyal boyfriend took my sister out in my new car. Thanks to a dashcam, I'd witnessed a perfect performance. Before I could finish, my mom screamed, "Lucy, you'll pay for this." I won't let this slide. I waved my phone and smiled at her. I've got more where that came from. The screen suddenly went dark. My mom and her team shut down the stream. Meanwhile, the recording scandal went viral, spreading rapidly online, way beyond what I expected. Thankfully, my earlier preparations paid off, and the topic was trending big time. I subtly hinted about it, leading to Clara's social platform getting thoroughly dug through. Today's a new bag. Tomorrow's a check-in at a 5-star hotel. Traveling the world like a true high society girl. Especially her latest post, "Baby, mommy and daddy welcome you." This only confirmed my story. Taking advantage of the buzz, I uploaded all the bills my parents extorted over the years. Also included were my property purchase records, and the pressure they put on me to transfer the house to Clara. Public opinion swung heavily in my favor. I created a new account and fueled the conversation. Bloodsucker family with a boyfriend who messes around with the sister-in-law. What an unbeatable combo. Just lock them in. People are naive. I saw them enjoying hot pot during the last stream. And here we are on a tight budget feeling sorry for the sister buying luxury bags. What we should really feel bad about is ourselves. No wonder. I always wondered about those parents who bully their kid while claiming to love them. Now I get it. OMG. Did it occur to anyone that the blackmailing photos were posted by them? Chilling thought. But it kinda makes sense. Well, they've got quite an ending coming. Satisfied, I put away my phone, humming a tune, ready to grab some night snacks. Halfway there, my parents jumped out from the bushes, looking miserable. Oh boy, I thought. Isn't that destroying the greenery? Trampling on flower beds could cost you a $200 fine. Seeing me, my mom began to sob. "You're cruel to ruin your sister like this. She was so good to you growing up." Hearing that made me laugh. My sister kind to me? Beating me as a kid, leeching off me as an adult, that's nice? I bet in her book, hitting is care, and yelling is love. Where's your conscience? Outsiders are pointing fingers at us while you're living it up. I'm telling you, if you don't give us money, you're a murderer. I smiled brightly. Who have I murdered? Tell me so I can laugh about it. Your sister is still pregnant. The baby moved because of you. If she loses this baby, it's like you committed murder. A murderer. You're gonna get punished by God for that. Seriously? I almost cracked up at their ridiculous logic. If you don't give me the money, then don't blame me for ruining our sisterhood. We're all in this for ourselves. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not giving me the cash. My sister stared at me, and the others fixed their eyes on me too. Their looks were like daggers, as if they wanted to kill me on the spot. I mean, sure, if I die, they'd get my property as my legal heirs. They started moving closer, with cold glares and saying prayers under their breath. God, forgive the violence. It's all for the new life we're welcoming. Even God would have been disgusted by them. I backed off a bit under their pressure, until I was at the end of a quiet alley with no cameras and no people around. The perfect crime scene. I sighed and muttered, spending money didn't go to waste, but now I'll need to spend even more. Then I shouted, let justice shine across the earth. Suddenly, a few towering, muscular guys appeared and stood protectively in front of me. My mom and the others were shocked. They thought these guys were just passing by, and tried to shoo them away for meddling. But these guys were actually bodyguards I hired. I patted their bulky arms, satisfied. Yep, pricey bodyguards are reliable. Nice, nice. Clara screamed, clutching her belly. Who dares hit me? I'm pregnant. That's against the law. I smiled at Clara. A sharp slap echoed in the alley. Then I alternated hands and slapped her 5 or 6 times. Clara covered her belly with one hand and her face with the other. Her eyes were filled with venom as she screamed and cursed while crying. My mom and the others, blocked by the bodyguards, kept cursing too. They seemed really anxious. Anxious to get beaten up, I guess. I waved my hand, fulfilling their wish. Guys, don't go easy because they're old and ugly. Leave the pregnant one out. Amid their howls, My mom and the others ended up with bruised faces. John squirmed over to me, grabbed my leg, and said, "Lucy, stop it, remember? I'm the one who loves you most. We're a couple, aren't we?" I looked at his sorry face, his nosebleed trickling into his mouth, which made me want to puke, especially with the trash he was saying. Frightened, I kicked his face and called one of the strongmen. "Quick, quick, here's something nasty." John got dragged away and flipped over. I couldn't help it, so I kicked him in the crotch. He cried in pain, so loud it gave me a headache, so I kicked him again. Then I took a deep breath, trying to calm my racing heart. That was gross. Once the beating settled down, I checked them all. They had minor injuries, and even if there were cameras, the worst would be a fine. Not to mention, it's a camera blind spot here. Satisfied, I clapped my hands, signaling them to stop. I greeted my sister, hiding in a corner. "We're done here, sis." When she heard me, she shivered uncontrollably, and a puddle of questionable liquid gathered beneath her. I couldn't help but laugh. When she was all tough, she didn't mention she'd pee her pants. I thought my mom and the others had quieted down, but turns out my sis had found herself a rich kid on the side. Funny part is, she really thought this rich kid was gonna marry her and bring her into his fancy life. Thinking she had this sucker lined up, she broke up with John. She even admitted the baby wasn't his, calling him a fool for thinking it was. John was pissed and hit her. Clara miscarried. Her health got weak, and she aimed to scam money from the rich kid. But the rich kid said he only liked her because she was pregnant and admitted to having a vasectomy. So there's no way he got Clara pregnant. My parents insisted he divorce and marry Clara, threatening to hang themselves at his doorstep if he refused. They made a scene, carrying signs and telling passers-by about their poor daughter's plight and the rich kid's deception. The rich kid tried to be nice about it, but that only emboldened them. They even tried to fake injuries and claimed he assaulted them in all sorts of crazy ways. But my mom seemed to forget the rich kid, and his wife weren't gonna put up with their nonsense. Soon, some strangers stripped Clara and left her in the middle of a busy street. She sure got famous. The info about the blackmail came to light thanks to some kind-hearted folks online. No surprise, it was my sister behind it. I kind of figured it was her all along. I posted something visible only to Clara. "I know who's behind the blackmail." Then I waited for her bait. Sure enough, she came around soon after. She demanded I delete the texts. And when I refused, she got cocky, saying she just had a miscarriage, and prison wouldn't take her in. Her smugness was spot on, like she learned from my mom, maybe even surpassed her. Still, she had some use for me. I offered her a different way to make some money, and kindly gave her 3 days to think it over. Predictably, Clara made up her mind in half an hour. "I agree. You better hold up your end." Attached was a bank card. I kept my promise, transferring $5,000. I knew, despite how my parents treated me, I still had a legal duty to support them. Like a ticking time bomb, it could go off anytime. When that happened, they could cry for the cameras and get people to pity them. If I refused, I'd be labeled cold-hearted and unfilial. So Clara and I struck a deal. Money for their agreement to institutionalization. I kindly gave her the 3 days to decide, but she didn't need them. Guess the saying's true, not a family, unless you act like one. Clara tricked them into a psychiatric evaluation. With her leading the way, my parents were deemed mentally unstable. It's funny, they actually thought Clara took them for a health checkup out of filial piety, and smugly texted me to mock me. Without any warning, Clara completely sold them out. The day we went to the psychiatric hospital, they were insisting on seeing Clara. I showed them the admission form. It clearly listed Clara and Lucy as the ones who agreed to it. They went nuts trying to tear up the consent form, yelling at the attendants, "We are normal people. We're normal. This woman is trying to harm us." The attendants were unusually calm. Every mental patient claims they're normal. So turns out they have paranoia too. Who knows how long they'll be stuck in the hospital now. I almost laughed out loud while covering my mouth. I nodded in agreement, feeling a little schadenfreude. After leaving the psychiatric hospital, I headed straight to the police station. I handed over the evidence of Clara extorting money from me. My sister, thinking she was off the hook, was still out on a shopping spree with the $5,000 I gave her. When they caught her, she was getting her nails done. She insisted the money was a gift from me and claimed I had forgiven her. The cops, of course, weren't buying it. Some of them even knew about what I went through. Besides, it's a criminal offense. My forgiveness doesn't mean squat. Due to her having a miscarriage, the police took mandatory action against her. But she really outdid herself, finding a new scam just like the last one I set up for her. In just 2 weeks, she fell in love all over again. The scammer was thrilled, thanking me for such an easy target. He said he'd never seen someone so gullible, losing everything for the sake of love. I guess he thought some good deed was done today. Later, the psychiatric hospital got in touch with me, saying my parents' conditions were severe. Such madness is rare for them to see. They spend all day plotting escape, making phone calls, refusing meds, rejecting treatment, and even cussing out and attacking the doctors and nurses. The medical staff was at their wits' end. I pretended to sigh and comforted the doctor. "Doc, make sure you use the most expensive treatment methods. Money's no issue for me. I just want my parents to get better. They're completely deranged now, and they see me as their enemy." The doctor assured me they'd use the most advanced treatment, even called me a dutiful daughter. Not long after, I got another call from the hospital. My parents were dead. When they were found, they were already stiff, with pills clutched in their hands. I went to see them off one last time, mainly because I was curious about what fireworks made from ashes look like. I scooped up some of their ashes with a small shovel into a trash bag. The ashes were made into fireworks, which I took to the beach. The fireworks burst brilliantly, disintegrating into particles that fell into the sea. The waves crashed and brought the particles back to shore. At that moment, a little dog ran up to the shore, peed on them, then scampered off. You could tell they weren't exactly loved. The end.